Hello, so I am Cameron Jory, here to talk about my reflection on the fitness unit I just did in PE. So I'm going to bring up a number of topics here, first being how I interacted with my client. So I should mention that my client was Malta Chopra, a friend who was also planning to improve his cardiovascular endurance. So he was my client, and I, of course, knew him beforehand. So the first thing I want to bring up is motivation. So it's often difficult to become motivated about fitness and about especially when it comes to endurance and pushing yourself in sport, because no one obviously likes the feeling of being extremely tired or worn out. So it is challenging to motivate someone, and the way I found there's obviously positive reinforcement to try and get them happy about it, or negative to try and I guess to make them want to improve themselves. But I found the best way for me, the way that I personally interacted with Malta to help motivate him was mutual jokes, making not just jokes, but anything to make the experience enjoyable. So anything that made it mutually funny for us, or mutual fun. If we both enjoyed something, or we did it together, we challenged ourselves together. It's a group experience rather than one person suffering, or one person's agony, or one person just trying to improve by themselves. So I try to make it enjoyable in that we both searched for ways to improve each other, and we did it collectively, and we tried to see mutual enjoyment out of the entire ordeal. We also put each other on the same level. I didn't take a position of authority. Neither did he when I was his client. That's one thing I think that could cause conflict, which luckily in our case we didn't have. So no conflicts to work on. We didn't encounter any. So encouragement was easy, and motivation was relatively easy, although it is difficult, challenging at sometimes. But get through it. Try and get that own personal and self motivation, as well as mutual enjoyment out of it. So how did I give them feedback to improve? Obviously, in specific tasks. This was one of the very hard bits, because I was absent for a lot of the unit. And he didn't get to complete my full 4-week plan. So when we did get the chance to do each other's circuits and workout programs, it's very difficult to actually micromanage the other person, give them advice on specific things that they're doing right or doing wrong. And I found that I had very little time for it, because I was busy working on his workout program when I had the chance. But when the time did arise, when I did want to give him feedback, I think the way I did it was, and I think that's for the way that worked for me and Malta, is I gave him straightforward feedback. So feedback that's straightforward, right to the point. I think you need to do this to improve this and this, because ultimately we wanted to improve each other. So instead of cutting corners, just straightforward, simple, say it as it is type thing, because it's not that embarrassing for either of us. The goal I set for my client. So the goal I set for my client was based on what he wanted. So he wanted to improve his cardiovascular endurance overall, as well as he wanted to be able to run faster, which isn't really muscular endurance or cardiovascular endurance or fitness in general. But I try to acknowledge his side of things, and I set a simple goal, which is to improve the beep test by at least 0.5. Or 0.5, so runs, 0.1 being one run to the other side, as he got a 6.9, level 6.9, on the previous one, which was quite good, and so that meant getting at least a 7.4. to improve. So that was my goal, and I think it was challenging enough. So that's the one thing. It's hard to find balance between challenging and feasible, and I think it's a realistic goal. So it is feasible, and it also wasn't too challenging at the same time. I think it's a bit more on the easier side, but it was challenging enough. It was suitable. It fit the problem. It fit what he wanted, and it ultimately worked out. So how I felt as how I performed as a coach the entire time, I think I could have improved a lot, mainly because it was very hard to focus on being a coach and interpersonal skills while you yourself are trying to improve your fitness throughout the unit. So although I think I did well in the times that I was interacting with Malta, and I was being not his coach but his planner and trying to improve his fitness, I think I did well. I think the interpersonal skills that I did use, the encouragement, mutual enjoyment, these tactics or skills that I used with Malta, I think I did them to a good degree. But ultimately, I think more time, more focus on being a coach to Malta rather than improving my own fitness would have seen me perform better overall as a coach. Um, I think the aspects that I did well in as a coach was motivation, making it enjoyable. Because ultimately, that's my goal. I want to enjoy, and not only do I want to improve my fitness and his fitness, but I want to enjoy the unit with him. And I think, I think it's one of the things that I did well. It's a specific example of what I did well. But I think it came easy. I think it came very easy because I knew Malta prior to this, and we're good friends, and we enjoy each other's company without anything interrupting us or anything like that. So things that I didn't do so well was just, as I've mentioned before, it's just the focus. I just didn't. It was very hard to focus on that, specifically the interpersonal skills, trying to improve the interpersonal skills that were lacking, which I don't think there were many of. But yeah. And if I could do this task again, I definitely, obviously, want to do it without the absentee, and want to make it more consistent, make plan more for contingency. So plan more for maybe, oh, well, I might be absent, or think about that. Start my 4-week plan earlier, so if anything like that happened, then I could give it to Malta, and he would have instructions to follow. Obviously, it'd still be difficult to coach, but or not coach, but train him. But it's better than how this unit has turned out today. Excuse me. Better than how this unit has turned out now. Ultimately, though, I think the unit did go well, and I learned a lot from the experience. I learned more about fitness. I learned more about pushing myself. I think I learned more about my limits than Malta's per se. But yeah, I think the unit did go well overall, and ultimately Malta did improve his fitness level and reach the goal, and he improved his beep test score by 0.9 instead of 0.5, which is almost twice as much as I asked for, or I expected of him. So, thank you very much. I'm Cameron Jory. This is my Criterion DBE reflection.